Welcome in, and a lot to cover in today's edition of Just the Truth. President Donald Trump sat down with Sean Hannity last night for an exclusive town hall on Fox News. Did you watch it? The event is less than 6 weeks away from the Iowa caucuses, which, by the way, I'll be there reporting for you. The town hall was in Davenport, Iowa, ahead of tonight's fourth GOP debate in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I've got the highlights for you. Are you familiar with the name Kevin Morris? He's the Hollywood lawyer known as Hunter Biden's sugar brother, who has reportedly given Biden millions in the past few years. In recent reports, it was suggested that Mr. Morris had given Hunter Biden up to $2 million. A new report says that number may have been underestimated. Guess by how much? Tonight, we'll again see the remaining GOP candidates on the debate stage in Alabama, and things are heating up between the two candidates competing for second place behind Donald Trump. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is not backing down from some of the accusations from Governor Ron DeSantis' campaign. I'll cover that as well. And remember the story of the bride and groom who were hit by an accused drunk driver on their wedding night at Folly Beach, just outside of Charleston, South Carolina? Sadly, the bride died as a result of the accident. Their story is back in the headlines as her mom is challenging the newlywed husband in how he is handling her daughter's estate. Welcome into today's edition of Just the Truth. Glad to have you join me in the PhD Weight Loss Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, you know, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
President Donald Trump predicted President Biden ultimately will not be the Democrats' nominee for president in 2024. The topic arose when Sean Hannity asked Trump about the criticism facing Biden from his fellow Democrats, as well as noted that he seemed to be struggling cognitively. We've heard that word used a lot, cognitive, because Joe Biden so far has refused to submit himself to a cognitive test, or at least give us the results of it, right? President Trump joked that Joe Biden would fall over if he simply blew on him. Here's Trump's prediction last night as he appeared with Sean Hannity.
I ask you, when prominent Democratic voices like Maureen Dowd and David Axelrod and Van Jones and others are so critical of Joe Biden, and of course he is struggling cognitively, I can't think of, in the last couple of months, any appearance that he has had where he wasn't either mumbling or bumbling or stumbling or having no clue where to go, where to exit. Now, my question is, do you think in 11 months he will be their candidate?
I personally don't think he makes it, okay? I haven't said that. I'm saving it for this big town hall. I personally don't think he makes it. I think he's in bad shape physically. Do you remember when he said, I'd like to take him behind the barn? If he took me behind the barn and I went like this, I believe he'd fall over. But who knows? But it was okay. And by the way, it was okay for him to say that. He said, I'd like to take him behind the... He could say that and everyone thought it was so cute. If I ever said it, they'd say, he's a dictator. He's a horrible human being. You know, it's a whole double standard we have, and not only in the law, but just about everything else, as you know very well. I personally don't think he makes it physically. I watched him at the beach. He wasn't able to lift a beach chair, which is meant for children to lift. You can lift them like that. And mentally, I would say he's possibly equally as bad and maybe worse. But I don't know. I will say this. He's got vicious people surrounding him around that beautiful Oval Office. There are people in that Oval Office that are evil people, bad people, smart people, young, vicious. They're communists and they're bad.
Who do you think would replace him then?
Well, I saw one person on who I actually had a very good relationship with, but I'm sure that it would end very quickly. I saw him in your debate the other night, and he's slick, but he's got no facts. You know, he's got no facts. I thought he did well, considering.
You're talking about Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, considering that he didn't have the facts. I thought he did well. You know, he said, we have the lowest taxes in the country. We have the cleanest streets in the country. And I'm saying, wait a minute, is he talking about the same place? So he'd certainly be one. I guess they say that Kamala would be the odds to be. Because they say if they didn't give it to her, the African-American vote, the black vote, would not go to them. And we just had a poll where I'm at 22 and 25% with the black vote. If we have that, we can call the election over.
We got to take a break.
Thank you.
In another exchange, Trump mocked President Biden for his claim that he wouldn't be running for re-election if Trump wasn't in the race. Biden made that statement earlier yesterday to a group of supporters at a Boston fundraiser, saying, quote, if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running. But we cannot let him win for the sake of our country, Biden said. Here's Trump's response.
Earlier today, Joe Biden, I'm sure he mumbled the words as usual. He said this, if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running, he said at a campaign event today. How do you react to that?
Well, I think somebody gave him a talking point. They thought that would sound good. You know, I just found out that Democrats are funding Nikki Haley's campaign. I hear that Democrats are contributing to Ron DeSantis's, or Ron DeSanctimonious, to Ron DeSantis's campaign. And then you hear the talking points. That's the only thing they're good at, cheating on elections and great talking points. They say, we want to run against Trump. They want to run. Well, we did really well in 2016, and we did so much better in 2020. The person they don't want to run against is us. It's us. It's not me. It's us. Because it's a movement, the likes of which this country, Sean, has never seen before.
At the beginning,
we have never seen the likes of what we've all done together. This is me, not me. It's everybody here and millions and millions. I think it's not 75 million people. I think it's 150 million people. It might be more than that. I mean, who doesn't want to see strong borders and a strong military and low taxes and low interest rates and go out and buy a house?
I played on purpose because I see what the media is doing now. I put a montage together. They want to call you a dictator. You use the words, I am your retribution. And now before that, you said if you've been wronged, and you used other words as well. But I want to be very, very clear on this. To be clear, do you in any way have any plans whatsoever, if reelected president, to abuse power, to break the law, to use the government to go after people?
You mean like they're using right now? So, in the history of our country, what's happened to us, again, has never happened before. Over nonsense, over nothing, made up charges. I often say Al Capone, he was one of the greatest of all time, if you like criminals. He was a mob boss, the likes of which Scarface, they call him. And he got indicted once. I got indicted 4 times. I wonder what my father and mother would say looking down.
With regard to oil and gas, Trump told Hannity, we have money laying in the ground, and we have so much wealth and power under our feet. He went on to talk about his policies when he was in the Oval Office. He described himself as an environmentalist and added, our country can be rich again. What we're going to do for our country is drill, baby, drill, Trump said. He said, drill, baby, drill. The day I take office, I will cancel Crooked Joe's electric vehicle mandate. Trump has railed against Joe Biden's handling of energy as gas prices in the U.S. have doubled since Biden's election. President Biden has struck back at the criticism, declaring that we are not in normal times and calling on oil companies to bring down the price that you're charging at the pump to reflect the cost you're paying for the product. He went on to say, do it now, do it today. Your customers, the American people, they need relief now. Trump continued saying, energy security is national security, and we don't have national security now. He said, like a bunch of very dumb people that have a rudderless ship, if you don't have energy and you don't have borders and you don't have fair elections, then you don't have a country. Trump also declared that he will absolutely win in Iowa in January. He promoted the hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs that he collected from China and gave back to the farmers. He said to be exact. It was $28 billion that he had been able to get back to the farmers, saying that that's why I'm going to win Iowa. He elicited cheers from the Hawkeye State crowd. He said, "My people, please, sir, don't keep saying that you're going to win Iowa. You sound so really horrible," he said. Someone said that it was crass. Trump said, "I said, but it's true. We're going to win Iowa." And he once again reminded them that he had been able to give farmers $28 billion, and he said he got it all from China. At one point, Trump promoted his polling, particularly among black voters, and suggested that will put him over the top in November 2024. He said last night to Sean Hannity, "We just had a poll where I'm at 22 and 25% with the black vote. If we have that, we can call the election over," he said. What he's referencing is a New York Times Siena College poll last month that raised alarm bells for Democrats after it found that Trump had reached an unprecedented level of support from black voters in battleground states that President Biden won in 2020. Black voters in Nevada, in Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin are now registering 22% support for Donald Trump. That's up from 8% in 2020. That is a deal breaker right there for Joe Biden, that is. That could be the election. Donald Trump's right. Finally, Hannity asked Trump about Biden's cognitive decline, and he aired an RNC ad that's being used across key states that shows Biden rambling and not able to complete a sentence. Trump said that Biden is a man that can't put two sentences together.
And welcome back to Hannity. We are broadcasting live tonight, beautiful Davenport, Iowa. Thank you all for coming. We continue now with former President Donald Trump as we now head into the Iowa caucus season. A two-part question on Joe Biden. One is about his cognitive decline, and the second is about the Biden family syndicate, as I call it. Let's first play an RNC ad about Joe Biden. Take a look.
But the nature, not when the political coverage, look, some of the political players and some of the, let me ask a rhetorical question. No, I won't. Anyway.
Now, I could play tape from almost every day. I think another horrible moment for him was that gaggle on Air Force One after he left Israel.
Yeah.
So my question is, what do you think about his cognitive state? And number two, the issue of Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, lying to the country as a candidate and president. I never had a discussion with Hunter or my brother or anybody for that matter on foreign business deals. We know, according to Devin Archer, he was on phone calls. We know he was meeting with oligarchs like the former First Lady of Moscow at Cafe Milano. Doesn't seem to get the attention in the media that anything involving you gets. What is your reaction to both?
Well, you know, they've been after all of my numbers and facts and figures, and they found out that it was incredible. Somebody said, "You must be the most honest guy in the world," because after all these years, and they saw everything, my tax returns, they saw everything, went up to the ceiling and they saw it. He is number one from your standpoint, cognitively. You like to use that word, cognitively. He's not good, but it's not for me to say. I will say this. I just saw a commercial by these lowlifes where they took me imitating him at a speech where we were all having a lot of fun. It's not really fun because we shouldn't be joking about it. I actually told Sean, you shouldn't joke about it. It's serious. We're dealing with nuclear. We're dealing with
by the way, that is
leaders.
a true story. You actually called me and said, it's not funny, because I was joking about it.
That's not funny
at all. I said, I thought about it, and I said, you're right. And I said, how come you never listen to my advice?
But it's true. It's actually true, unfortunately. But, you know, I imitated him not finding his way off a stage. It's not really that hard. You're looking around and I walk into a wall. I say, let me see. And I do that a lot. You know, I just sort of at some of our rallies.
And speaking of the Biden crime family, breaking news from the House Ways and Means Committee yesterday. Hunter Biden received a whopping $4.9 million from Hollywood lawyer Kevin Morris in a 3-year period, according to an IRS agent who investigated the president's son for alleged tax evasion. In the testimony, the revelation signifies a substantial increase in the known amount Hunter Biden got from his so-called sugar brother after the men reportedly met the first time at a December 2019 campaign fundraiser. So talking to the Ways and Means Committee, IRS agent Joseph Ziegler shared the surprising number and additional documentation yesterday with the House Ways and Means Committee in a follow-up appearance as House Republicans near an expected vote to authorize an impeachment inquiry into President Biden for his alleged role in his relatives' foreign dealings. Prior reporting had indicated that Mr. Morris had paid about $2 million in tax debts for Hunter Biden and had purchased some of his novice artworks. Morris's motives for helping Hunter financially and the authenticity of their friendship has been a big debate. Why would he do this? Why would someone who is practically a stranger to the Biden family suddenly be given Hunter Biden millions of dollars? Yes, he's calling it a loan. Why would he even loan Hunter Biden this amount of money without having any type of expectation that it would be repaid? As part of yesterday's testimony, Ziegler provided legislators an email showing that as early as February 7th, 2020, less than 2 months after they met, that Morris was contacting accountants on Hunter Biden's behalf and warning them to work quickly to avoid, quote, considerable risk personally and politically. That sounds like threats to me. Ziegler, who investigated Hunter's taxes for 5 years before he was removed from the case this year, said that the first son's income from Morris, at least some of it deemed loans, resembled Hunter's practice of trying to avoid paying taxes on other income by describing it as loans. In his comments in his opening statement, Mr. Ziegler said, Hunter appeared to follow a pattern of attempting to avoid paying taxes on relevant income. This first started with Hunter not reporting the Ukrainian gas company Burisma income in 2014 and allegedly falsely claiming that it was a loan to him. He again tried to claim the millions in Chinese income earned from Hudson West 3 was a loan to him, which was refuted by the evidence and was not allowed by his tax accountants. This continued into 2020, he said, 2021, and 2022, in which Hunter received approximately $4.9 million in payments for personal expenses, again in the form of a loan and gift from Democrat donor Kevin Patrick Morris. Ziegler and the rest of his investigative unit were removed from the tax fraud case targeting Hunter, allegedly on Justice Department orders back in May after Ziegler joined his supervisor, Gary Shapley, in publicly alleging a cover-up featuring preferential treatment for the first family. A month later, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware announced a probation-only plea deal for Hunter, which ultimately, as you know, fell apart at a July court hearing when his lawyers pressed for assurances that he had broad immunity for other possible crimes committed in the past. The full transcript of Ziegler and Shapley's latest testimony to the Ways and Means Committee was not immediately available yesterday, but we're looking for it, and we will get it eventually. A source familiar with the behind-the-scenes door exchange told the New York Post that Ziegler was asked to confirm the $4.9 million figure for Morris's contributions and that he did so in the hearing. It's possible that Morris gave even more in 2023 that's not included in that total, according to some insiders. Morris did not immediately respond to the New York Post request or other media's request, nor did the White House, nor did Hunter Biden's legal team. Of course they're not. They're crickets right now. A Los Angeles grand jury reportedly is considering tax charges against Hunter in a case that could include related counts, such as for allegedly violating the Foreign Agents Registration Act by introducing associates to his vice president father and U.S. officials. Look, we all know the scheme. We all know what Hunter Biden was selling. And it wasn't his expertise, because in the end, Hunter Biden is not that smart of a guy. All Hunter Biden had to offer these people, if Joe Biden had not been vice president, these people would have cared nothing about Hunter Biden. All Hunter Biden had to offer, all he had to sell, was not his knowledge, was not his expertise, but his dad, who was vice president of the United States and was able to cut through the red tape and was able to benefit these foreign governments and the companies within these foreign governments. Republicans in recent weeks also focused on the purported loans involving Joe Biden's brother, James Biden, because he's just as dirty in this deal as Hunter. I got a feeling that when we get to the very bottom of it, that we're going to find that James Biden may be the mastermind, that he's the one who put Hunter out there and coached Hunter on who to approach and how to sell access to his dad. House Oversight Committee's GOP leaders allege that James Biden laundered $40,000 in Chinese government-linked funds to pay Joe Biden in September of 2017, and that he paid his brother $200,000 in 2018 after getting an identical amount the same day by promising to help a U.S. hospital chain find a Middle Eastern investor using his political connections. It's not a coincidence that he received $200,000 from this foreign investor, and that the same day he transferred $200,000 to his brother. Let me ask you a question. Do you transfer money back and forth among your family members the way we're seeing the Bidens do this? It's criminal. We know it. It doesn't. You don't have to be very smart to figure this out. But yet, Joe Biden wants us to think that he knew nothing about it. The White House said that those two loans were genuine and that President Biden did nothing wrong, but Republicans say that the original loan amounts to James came from a law firm rather than Joe Biden's personal account, which makes the water a little muddier. Ziegler, a registered Democrat, he says, and Shapley, a registered Republican who says he voted for Democrats in the past, including Bill Clinton, publicly objected to the handling of Hunter's tax fraud investigation, as Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss reportedly was considering allowing Hunter to avoid any charges after Biden appointed U.S. attorneys in Los Angeles and Washington declined to partner on a prosecution in their districts where the tax crimes will be brought because of resident issues. Again, if you and I did what Hunter Biden has done, if you and I had done what James Biden has done, we wouldn't be having this conversation because we would be in some federal prison right now. Mr. Ziegler yesterday also scolded Democrat legislators for how they've handled the case. In his closing statement, he said, "I can tell you that as a fellow Democrat who has previously voted for your Democrat colleagues, I am extremely disappointed and hurt by some of your comments and actions. Those comments you have lodged have impacted me and my family. My husband's business has been attacked, and I have been personally attacked by the Biden family attorneys and members of the media." 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Your comments are welcome. You can leave a quick voice message, and, of course, your comments, your emails are welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. It'll bring tears to your eyes. It's the emotional video that's being circulated of a 5-year-old returning to her school and being greeted by her classmates after she had been kidnapped and held hostage by Hamas terrorists. This is a story that just warms my heart to see this. I'll tell you all about it in just a minute. First, let me tell you about PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. Actually just over 3 years ago, I started my journey with PhD weight loss and nutrition. I lost 30 pounds. I always mention the 30 pounds because when we start a weight loss program, most of us really care about those pounds. That's how we judge our success. But after a couple of years, and now going into over 3 years, the number's really not that important to me anymore. What's so much important to me is the non-scale victories that losing that 30 pounds has allowed me to do, like being able to focus better, being able to have more energy, being able to sleep better. You're going to be able to do things that maybe you weren't able to do before, or you just didn't feel like doing them. 3 years later, I feel great. My doctor tells me to keep doing what I'm doing, that all my numbers look good, cholesterol, blood pressure. If you're ready, not only to lose the weight for the last time, but to gain the energy to do the things that you love, don't wait another day. Call my friends at PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. Do it today and get started. 864-252-4925. You can go online at myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition, the official partner of the Clemson Tigers and their fans. So a very heartwarming video circulating online right now. It shows the first day of school for 5-year-old Amelia Alani after she had been kidnapped and held hostage by Hamas terrorists for 7 weeks. Amelia was freed on November 24th. She was held hostage in Gaza along with her mother, Danielle. The little girl was spotted in this touching video wearing a bright pink and blue outfit as she returned to her kindergarten classroom in Israel. The footage shows Amelia's teacher, who meets her at the gate with a bright smile on her face for the long-awaited return of her student. The teacher is seen scooping Amelia in her arms for a hug before turning to the girl's grandfather and giving him a big hug too. The video then shows Amelia quickly scampering up the stairs toward her classmates who excitedly greet her. Amelia is seen smiling ear to ear as she is tightly hugged by her friends at the door of the classroom. On November 24th, Hamas released 13 Israeli hostages as part of a 4-day ceasefire deal. Other hostages have been released since then. The U.S. Department confirmed this week that 220 American citizens could still be trapped in Gaza as the war between Israel and Hamas continues. If you'd like to see this video, I have shared it on my social media post. You can just find me on Facebook. Just search for Joey Hudson on Facebook, and I've got this post up there. A super PAC supporting Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for president is taking aim at his GOP primary rival, Nikki Haley, again comparing her to Hillary Clinton in a new 7-figure ad buy in Iowa. This battle between the two candidates heats up literally the day of the presidential primary debate tonight in Alabama. Fight Right is a political action committee that's backing Ron DeSantis for the Republican 2024 presidential nomination. Says that it spent $1.54 million on the ad buy, which will go out on cable and broadcast in Iowa, where the first in the nation caucuses will take place in January. Again, I'll be there for you. I'll be there in Iowa reporting back to you via the Mike Gallagher Show and our podcast here, Just the Truth. The ad cites past remarks from Nikki Haley, who, of course, served as UN ambassador during the Trump administration, in which she said that Clinton who inspired her to run for office. It goes on to accuse her of supporting raising taxes and open borders like Hillary, before also citing recent remarks from J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, who urged liberal Democrats to back Haley to give Republicans a choice other than former President Donald Trump. Here's how the ad goes.
Nikki Haley admits
the reason I got into politics was because of Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton is actually the reason.
So Haley raised taxes like Hillary, backs open borders like Hillary, did favors for Chinese companies like Hillary. Now the globalist Wall Street bankers who financed Hillary's campaigns are funding Haley's campaign.
You're a very liberal Democrat. I urge you, help Nikki Haley too.
And just like Hillary Clinton, Nikki Haley shouldn't be president. Fight Right Inc. is responsible for the content of this ad.
Now, again, Fight Right is a political action committee backing Ron DeSantis. The ad buy comes as Haley and DeSantis are locked in this fierce battle for second place behind the clear frontrunner, Donald Trump. It's the latest attempt to compare Haley to Clinton. The Trump campaign also pointed to the times that Haley has said that she was inspired by Hillary Clinton to run for office. However, the comparison has also been fact-checked by multiple media outlets for missing context, specifically that Haley has also stressed her ideological differences with the former Secretary of State and 2016 Democrat presidential candidate. Now, this is a case where we cut through the noise here on Just the Truth, because you need to know this, whether you support Governor Ron DeSantis or you support Governor Nikki Haley. One of the clips that was used in the ad, in which Haley says Clinton was the reason I got into politics, omits the fact of her also saying, I don't agree with anything that Clinton has to say. She said that the inspiration from Clinton came because she had been giving multiple reasons why she shouldn't run, but then heard Clinton speak. Hillary Clinton was the keynote speaker on a leadership institute, and she said that when it comes to women running for office, there will be everybody that tells you why you shouldn't, but that's all the reasons why we need you to do it. And I walked out of there thinking, that's it, I'm running for office. This is a statement that Nikki Haley made to the New York Times in 2011. Haley's campaign has also pointed to past remarks in which she has criticized Clinton, including telling voters in 2016 that Clinton would be a disaster as president and would be absolutely worse than former President Barack Obama. Haley spokesperson Ken Fornaso, told Fox News, this is the sign of a desperate losing candidate. As Ron DeSantis drops in the polls, Nikki Haley has surged into second place in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina because voters know she's the best candidate to take on Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Haley and DeSantis will be joined on the debate stage tonight in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, by entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. President Trump, of course, has again declined to attend the debate. On the Truth text line, Sherry in Elberton, Georgia, responding to the story about Florida State University objecting to Alabama being put in that fourth playoff slot. Sherry says the football SEC decision is all about the money. Sherry, you're very right. Thank you for your comment on the Truth text line. Yours is welcome as well. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Texter says, good morning from Cancun, Mexico. Me and my wife are celebrating 1 year of marriage this week. When we go on vacations, I enjoy talking to people and get their opinions on politics. I was able to speak with people from Ireland, Australia, and Canada. They all agree that Joe Biden is a joke. They also all agree that America has a crisis at the border. Although they're not overly enthusiastic about Donald Trump, they all seem to agree that the next election will go to the Conservative Party. The people from Canada are not happy with their health care and high taxes, and the lady from Ireland believes that the next election in her country will go to the Conservative Party as well. Thanks for keeping me informed, even when I'm sitting on a beach in another country. Well, thank you. I appreciate you listening to my podcast on your anniversary trip. Ace writes, Joey, I consider myself a Minuteman type patriot. I will fight to the death to protect my faith, family, and country. I love the USA. Joey, America needs to stop catering to these sick transgender people. I'm rolling in my grave, and I'm not dead. That was a follow-up from Ace. Both of these, of course, topics that we tackled yesterday. One, I asked you about the definition of a patriot, as Jesse Waters had some fun sending one of his guys out on the street, doing the man on the street in New York, asking people what they think a patriot is. And I ask you, are you a patriot? What's your definition of a patriot? Ace also was commenting on the story of this transgender, this group of school children going on a field trip to Philadelphia and Washington, and one of the young girls realized that she had been assigned the same room and was expected to sleep with a biological boy on this field trip. The world's gone crazy when that kind of thing happens. Our positive text today: faith, it does not make things easy, it makes them possible. Thank you for that. And in our email inbox from Jennifer, she writes, regarding the Seminoles Crimson Tide issue of who goes to the playoffs, I don't feel qualified to talk football, but my first instinct regarding the decision of Alabama over Florida was that TV ratings definitely came into play there. I agree with what sports commentator Kerry Champion said. It's like when you ask, why would you have Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom debate on Hannity? Ratings, she writes, all caps. It was a brilliant idea. Hannity viewership that night was something like 4.75 million viewers. Is that the case? I need to look it up. I haven't even noticed that. Jennifer goes on to write in her email, people wanted to finally hear DeSantis have the chance to talk, and he definitely had a lot to say, and they wanted to see if Gavin Newsom is the slick, slippery, greasy phony that he appears to be, and he is, Jennifer writes. Sports fans love an underdog, so now Florida is somewhat of an underdog, winning with their third-string quarterback, so we want to see if he can do it again, but they killed it. It could have made TV ratings go up, not down. They might actually lose ratings in protest over this murky decision. Bottom line, I think Florida should have been the winner here. Andy agrees. He's calling interference. Thank you, Jennifer, for your email. Your emails are welcome as well. Joey@joeyhudson.com. You can text me your comments as well to the Truth text line, 864-477-5639. Remember the story of the bride and groom who were hit by an accused drunk driver on their wedding night in a golf cart at Folly Beach, just outside of Charleston, South Carolina? Sadly, the bride died as a result of the accident. The story's back in the headlines as her mom is challenging the newlywed husband in how he is handling her daughter's estate. Portions of today's show brought to you by Discounted Appliance Warehouse. Are you tired of buying appliances from inexperienced sales staff who have no appliance knowledge? With so many different options, brands, features, it's tough to figure out which one's right for you. But I got a solution for you. All you have to do is head over to Pickens and talk with my friend Jeff and Johnny at Discounted Appliance Warehouse. That's why I recommend them, because they know everything that you need to know to help you make the right decision. Appliances are expensive, and you can't make the wrong decision because you're going to need to use that appliances for hopefully 8, 10, 15 years. They have an A-plus Better Business Bureau, nearly perfect reviews on Google, and the team at Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they have the knowledge that you need to have the confidence that you're going to make the right purpose. They'll show you around the warehouse, over 11,000 square feet packed with new appliances, and help you find the ideal solution. And with their expert installation, their award-winning service department, and extended warranties, they have you covered well beyond the sale. Discounted Appliance Warehouse, it's worth the short drive to Pickens. Find them online at dawpickens.com, dawpickens.com. So the grieving groom whose bride was killed by an accused drunk driver on their wedding night is now embroiled in a bitter fight over her estate with his mother-in-law, who's even challenging the validity of their marriage. Here's the story. Eric Hutchinson had assumed control of Samantha Miller's estate after his 34-year-old bride was killed in April of this year when their golf cart was rear-ended as they left their wedding reception just outside of Charleston, South Carolina, leaving him also needing multiple surgeries for broken bones. But the dead bride's mom, Lisa Miller, has filed a petition to remove him as the personal representative, citing issues of potential fraud, suggesting that his marriage to her daughter could be invalid, according to the Post-Courier in Charleston. Her attorney also has filed, withdrawn, and refiled a motion to intervene in a wrongful death suit Hutchinson filed against local bars for serving the accused drunk driver when expected to procure a lofty settlement. The mom said that her daughter would have wanted her to get a share of her inheritance, but Hutchinson's legal team was sidelining her. Miller told the Post and Courier, Eric and I agreed several times that Sam would want us to do everything together, given we're the two most important people in her life. I never wanted to challenge the validity of the marriage. I never wanted to dishonor Sam. But I feel like Eric is dishonoring my daughter in going against her wishes, Miller said of her of the son-in-law, who she previously gushed over as the loving male version of her daughter. Miller's attorney, Jerry Meehan, also said that his client's main reason to intervene is to protect the estate of Samantha Miller and all of its rightful heirs. It's interesting how money can turn people like this, isn't it? Because that's what this is all about, is the money. He claimed, the attorney claimed, there's no reason to rush the process and cloak it in secrecy. This was a money grab from minute one. Hutchinson's lawyers called Miller's motion to intervene morally questionable and legally baseless while denying her claim that she was being cut out. Eric has been more than generous with Lisa Miller, offering her half of the money, and she has repaid him by threatening to bring a frivolous challenge to the validity of his marriage to Sam. This was a statement by Hutchinson's attorney, Patrick Wooten. One would hope that Ms. Miller would have too much respect for her own daughter to do that. He has offered his mother-in-law half of any recovery in the wrongful death suit on the condition that she stop pursuing legal challenges to their marriage. He went on to say Eric has made the settlement offer not because Lisa Miller had a valid legal claim, she does not, but rather because he is a generous person and, of course, would prefer to avoid painful public litigation over the validity of his marriage to her daughter, Sam. Hutchinson and Miller were married on Folly Beach on April the 28th. A Charleston County probate judge recognized the validity of their marriage on May 1st, while Hutchinson was still in the hospital recovering from the injuries he sustained in the drunk driving collision. His aunt and uncle brought the signed marriage license and certificate to the Charleston County Probate Marriage License Division, and the clerk provided them with additional forms to fill out. Now, this is where it gets a little bit muddy, but really doesn't change the things. Miller's attorneys are challenging a form in which the groom's aunt said that she had known the husband for 36 years, even though Samantha was only 34 years when she died. So no way they could have known each other for 36 years. But again, that could have just been a mistake. I mean, the fact is, people attended the wedding, they witnessed the wedding, and until money became involved, it seemed that the mom had blessed the wedding. She also wrote that the couple had been living together after their wedding, despite Samantha being dead and Hutchinson being in the hospital after the wedding. Hutchinson's lawyers admit that those claims could not be true, but said that they are irrelevant in determining the validity of Samantha and Eric's marriage, calling them a total distraction. The driver, Jamie Lee Komorowski, was charged with reckless vehicular homicide and 3 counts of felony driving under the influence. Komorowski will be released from jail on bond in March if prosecutors have not brought the 26-year-old to trial by then, the Post and Courier said of a judge's recent order. Under a settlement reached in October, Progressive Northern Insurance and 2 local bars that allegedly served a tipsy Komorowski agreed to pay an undisclosed amount in addition to attorney's fees to escape liability or any claims of wrongful death or personal injury. Hutchinson's attorney, Daniel Dalton, agreed to the settlement, saying it was reasonable and proper and fully protects the right of the statutory beneficiary under the Wrongful Death Act. Again, just a sad, sad situation that this young lady was killed in this horrible accident. Makes it even sadder that now her husband, her newlywed husband, and her mom are fighting in court. I don't think she would have wanted that. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639 is how you can send a quick comment via the Truth text line. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined our mailing list, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails with the most up-to-date news. Thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Keep your comments coming via the Truth text line, 864-477-JOEY. And keep your emails coming as well, joey@joeyhudson.com. Have a great rest of your day. We're back tomorrow. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.